I'm going to give you a timeline. Today we'll come to talk about Jamaica's justice system and how it works only for the wealthy, right? In Jamaica, and the more wealthier you are, or the more prominent of society you and your people or your family members are, or your connections are, then certain laws and rules and regulations don't really apply to you because there will always be a way around them for you. Privileged then. Okay, welcome to SoFlo TV again, everybody. It is your host with the most, and today we'll come to talk about Kajil Mice. Kajil Mice, M-A-I-S. Kajil Mice is a student, a Kingston College student that was killed. He was murdered in 2011 by a prominent society of Jamaican businessman who was driving a X6 BMW brand new, and a taxi that this student was riding in collided with this guy's X6, and this wealthy man did nothing more than jump out of his BMW, fussing about how them scratch up and mash up in Beamer, and fire some gunshot into the, fire some gunshots into the taxi that this student, 17 years old at the time, Kajil, was riding in. Kajil took a bullet to his head and he died. How come people like Vybz Kartel, even though they were, them have some money, they have more than the average citizen of Jamaica has financially and materialistically speaking as well, in assets, so on and so forth, they still were not able to escape the long arms of the law as they have it put in Jamaica. And one of the issues is that Vybz Kartel is a ghetto youth, and he did not come up through education, as in their systematic education. He's not a university graduate that has multiple big degrees and is no prominent businessman and in these kinds of things. So he's not from old money, understand? So circumstantial evidence was enough to put Vybz Kartel away, snatch away his livelihood from him through circumstantial evidence and hearsay and made up stuff. But a wealthy businessman can get out of his X6, fire gunshots into a vehicle, hit a 17-year-old in the head, and pretty much has gotten away with it so far. Here's a timeline of the story and how it went down, just to fill you in before we catch you up to what's going on in the story in 2016 as it has developed. May I remind you before I go any further that this businessman has still not been incarcerated. He is free, awaiting trial, and has been since the incident happened, okay? In 2011, we're in 2016. Walk with me. So on July 1st, 2011, 17-year-old Kingston College student Kajil was shot dead when the driver of a BMW X6 reportedly opened fire on a taxi in which he was traveling after the taxi collided with the sports utility vehicle. The driver of the X6 flees the scene. 1. Him run gone. Fire gunshot into the vehicle, into the taxi that hit his X6 BMW and took off running. Flee the scene, right? Took off, drive away, flee the scene. On July 11th, the suspect is held in the killing, or the killing suspect is held. 10 days after is when he was finally caught. 10 days after he fired gunshots into a taxi cab that was carrying a Kingston College student, shooting Kajil in the head and killing him, is when this wealthy businessman was finally caught. 10 days after. Okay? He was caught on July 11th, and July 1st is when the incident happened of 2011. July 16th of 2011, Mace laid to rest after a funeral at the Holy Trinity Cathedral in Kingston. So Kajil's funeral, the 17-year-old, was laid to rest on the 16th, which was what? 5 days after the suspect was caught who murdered him. Okay? I don't know why they're calling him a suspect, because he did it in front of people that saw him do it. Right? And they are there to testify. Now, on July 20th, 50-year-old Patrick Powell, a businessman of Belgrade Loop, Kingston 19, who was implicated in the shooting death of Kajil Mace, is charged with murder. So he was caught on the 11th, and he was not charged with murder until the 20th. Illegal possession of a firearm, illegal possession of ammunition, failure to produce the firearm for inspection, fleeing the scene. Wanna see that? May I say it again? He was charged with murder, illegal possession of a firearm, shooting with intent, illegal possession of ammunition, failure to produce a firearm for inspection, and fleeing the scene. Okay, the wealthy. This is on July 20th of 2011. On November 8th, forensic reports in the murder case revealed that the back of the right hand of the deceased, Kajil Mace, had gunpowder residue at trace levels. Defense attorney Patrick Atkinson reasons that the gunpowder residue meant that Kajil had fired a gun. You wicked man. However, Senior Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions Caroline Hay dismisses Atkins' claim, arguing that the trace of gunshot residue could have been transferred to the deceased's hand by someone who had fired a gun. On November 9th, Powell was granted bail in the sum of $10 million. And for those of you who don't know, people, that is probably roughly about 79 to 80,000 US dollars. He paid the bail, okay, with one or two sureties. So he paid the bail and he was out. On June 18th of 2012, Powell appears in court. So November 9th, him get bail. He didn't appear in court again until June 18th of 2012. November 9th, 2011, he got bail. Didn't appear in court until June 18th of 2012. He appears in court at the Home Circuit Court, where the trial for the murder case was postponed again until September 17th of 2012. Okay. We never hear nothing again about no case against this wealthy businessman until 2016, October 13th, 2016. And here is how it goes, okay? Justice Lloyd Hibbert yesterday warned the family members of Kajil Mace, the victim, the 17-year-old who was shot. The judge warned his family member to desist from posting material on social media pertaining to the trial of businessman Patrick Powell in the case dubbed the X6 Murder Trial. The High Court judge also ordered the removal of all materials posted on various social media platforms about the X6 murder trial and warned that no further material should be posted. So here is a judge protecting a wealthy businessman, Mr. Powell, right? Protecting him to the point where he doesn't even want anything posted on social media from anyone. Forget free speech from anyone, let alone the victim's family. Let's not remember that their son was shot in the head while riding in a taxi in 2011. And it's 2016 and his killer still has not had a day in court. Okay. Justice Hibbert made the order after Powell's attorney raised concerns about the social media campaign that was allegedly being held or led by the family and argued that it could prejudice the case, resulting in Powell getting an unfair trial. Powell, mind you again, is the wealthy businessman with the X6 that jumped out and fired a gunshot into the taxi, killing the 17-year-old who was riding in the taxi. Okay? Now, it is funny to see how the judge is protecting this businessman. Now, Kajil Mace's sister, Kimberly, last week voiced her dissatisfaction on Facebook and Instagram about the frequent delays and the length of the time that it has taken for this case to start. So the girl voiced her, she sounded off her frustration on social media about how her brother got killed by some rich man in 2011, and it's 2016 and the case still not gone to court yet because them are poor people and a rich man do it, right? And how the justice system in Jamaica is protecting him. The judge ordered everything removed from social media. Shinoff said nothing like that. So they murdered your 17-year-old in 2011 and it's 2016, and that man who fired that shot still has not been brought to justice or even had a day in court yet, and you're not allowed to get on social media and even say anything about it. Because why? It might grant an unfair trial to the shooter. Jamaica justice system for you. Okay? I will read on. Instagram as well as newspaper articles and television interviews done by May's sister commenting on the trial. Martin highlighted various different materials that were posted by May's sister on Facebook, Instagram, and newspaper articles and television interviews done by the victim's sister commenting on the trial. She also pointed out to a planned march. So the sister was talking about a planned march by the family which would have coincided with the start of the trial. So them say, when the trial starts, the family is going to get together with some friends and we're going to march, a peaceful, quiet march, just march down to the courthouse and peacefully stand, right? The judge ordered that that be stopped too. Jamaica justice system for you. And how dare you ever say that Jamaica's justice system is biased and it only works for the rich and the wealthy and the well-connected. Poor people get friggin' it. Alright. We are particularly, here's what the lawyer for this wealthy businessman said. We are particularly concerned about the impact that this could have on potential jurors and are of the view that the conduct could communicate to them a view that they should take off these proceedings, and that it would cause persons to feel intimidated. Consequently, Justice Hibbert instructed that no further material be posted on social media and that the case, while warning that anything done to unfairly influence a tribunal is tantamount to contempt of court. Justice Hibbert said that he was disturbed by some of the comments which were highly critical of the justice system. So here you have a judge that is about to preside over this case, right, of this wealthy businessman. And this judge, go read up social media already, saw some things on there about the family speaking about the justice system in Jamaica because their 17-year-old was murdered by this wealthy businessman in 2011, and it's 2016 and he still has not been to court yet to be tried on murdering their 17-year-old college student son. Okay? And for them to come out, they said a couple of things on social media. The judge says, this is the judge that is presiding over this case. He comes out and says that he was disturbed by some of the comments which were highly critical of the justice system. So in other words then, they're not allowed to criticize the justice system even when it is not working for them. Can you say that this judge might be biased towards this wealthy businessman, Mr. Powell, who killed this 17-year-old, and it can be seen clearly before the trial even starts? Alright. The teen was reported traveling in the taxi. So, Powell has been charged with murder arising from the 2011 shooting death of the 17-year-old Kingston College student, Kajil Mace. Right? The teen was reportedly traveling in a taxi that collided with a BMW X6 motor vehicle. It is alleged that the driver of the BMW got out and fired at the car. So he's feeling untouchable. He might drive a brand new X6 SUV, which costs a lot of money, by the way. He might have a big gun upon him, and the taxi driver, you know, taxi driver drive Jamaica already, majority of them. The taxi driver look a fear, I go about him business, run up in at the man X6, and the man jump out and say, I mean, I miss a big body and rich Powell, enough money me have. Why? Gunshot in at the people them taxi. Killed a 17-year-old college student that was riding in that taxi. Right? The trial, which was scheduled to start yesterday, has been postponed for next Tuesday. So the trial that was scheduled to start on the 13th of this month, which is October 2016, has been postponed again. The postponement was a result of the absence of attorney Patrick Atkinson, who is to rejoin the defense team and will not be available until next Tuesday. Powell's bail was extended, and Vybz Kartel couldn't even get let out on bail. They lock him up and hold him there to the end of the trial and then find the man guilty and give him 35 years under circumstantial evidence. But this man, his car get licked, right? His X6 get licked, and him jump out of his X6, fires a weapon, a gun, into a taxi, killing a 17-year-old college student, and him get bail. And he walks on bail from 2011 to 2016. And in 2016, when it's time to go to court again, what happens? It's delayed further because one of his lawyers out of his lawyer team, him have a team of lawyers, and one of his lawyer team is off on his hiatus and will be back. So hold court until Richmond's attorney returns. People, I want y'all to see what is going on here, okay? Because Kajil deserves justice, alright? Kajil Mays deserves justice. The youth was 17, he was already at Kingston College and do positive things with his life. He was something promising and was going somewhere. His family took this as a great loss, as they should. And they've been mourning without justice since 2011. What do you think about this SoFlo TV? And like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm not going to keep this up any longer. Let the video go on any longer, but this is something I thought that we should all be aware of. Rest in peace, rest in Uhuru Kajil. Kajil Mays, your life was not in vain. Let's see how the Jamaica justice system works. And Jamaica, remember this, the world is watching, okay? And they are very aware of how your justice system works. It's SoFlo TV, man. We're up out of here. Peace.